Most job seekers are underselling themselves and they're leaving a lot of skills and money on the table. Okay, they're not conveying their actual skill set and value in their resumes. I've reviewed thousands of resumes, and this is something that I see over and over and over again. And this image here of this iceberg is exactly, this is the analogy I use so often, because the skills that you are conveying on paper, whether it's your resume, your LinkedIn, your portfolio, or even in interviews, is the tip of the iceberg. And what your actual skill set is, and this is what we uncover with women inside of our programs and community, is their actual skill set, which is so much more than you are seeing. And maybe you're up too close to your skills and you can actually see them, but you're not positioning, selling, leveraging the extent of skills and qualifications that you actually have. Okay, and this is what's keeping so many women and job seekers overlooked, rejected. You're coming up as unqualified, like with the ATS, for instance, even though you are qualified, and it's because you're only conveying that tip of the iceberg, and even that is like a watered down version for most people. Okay, so instead of grabbing your resume first and starting to apply for jobs, take the time to do this inventory process. This is going to serve as the base to your career portfolio and to your resume moving forward, branding, strategy, all of that. This is the most important step. And this is also going to determine how well you can market and sell yourself. Like, this is the foundation, right? It's like building a house. Like the house, the quality of the house is only going to be as good as the foundation, right? So you want to make sure that your skills are setting you up for the best roles, the best fitting roles, and the highest paying roles as well. And this all starts with this first strategy. A question to consider and ask yourself for this part of the process, to really kind of narrow down some next action steps for you in a to-do list, is where are you leaving skills on the table? Okay, what job titles do you have documented as best fitting roles? And do you have all of the variations of those job titles identified as well? And this can be in different industries. Think also of like higher level or like senior level roles if you want a higher level leadership position or higher paying role as well. So what skills are you leaving on the table? And this is going to require you to really dig through your experiences, okay? And this can look like, for example, work history. And even if it's recent or further in the past, that work history can be leveraged. This can be courses and certifications, college degrees, it can be accomplishments, projects that you've worked on. If you were like a stay-at-home parent or you took time off, like utilize that work gap as well, like stay-at-home experience, volunteer work. There's so many different layers to being able to dig out these skills. And that is why you're only conveying the tip of the iceberg, is because most people have not done that deep dive to understand what is underneath the water and their actual skill set from all of these different examples I just listed off. And these are just maybe half of what we can actually go through. Okay, so comment and let me know if you're struggling with this part of the process, with identifying those roles, identifying and pulling out those skills. But really just understand that you're going to have to, kind of like how you like a deep spring clean on your house, you're going to have to deep scrub, like go through everything. And that's going to start, by really documenting and taking inventory of everything, like the projects, the accomplishments, the success stories, the quantified results, the courses, the trainings, the call it, like it's a lot. But once you do this process, you're going to be able to see more clearly that you are qualified and how your skills actually can be transferred into the qualifications of the roles that you are looking for. That makes sense. Okay. A lot of you, we're going to talk about this in strategy too, but you are not conveying or selling your skills to match the qualifications of the roles that you are applying to. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to go on to strategy 2 here. So comment and let me know if you're struggling with this part of the process. So Maddie, here's a case study. So I want this to inspire you. So Maddie was a former teacher in my job search community. Many of you, I think, can relate to her situation here. So no matter what industry you're coming from or positioning or pivoting out of. Okay, so before working in our community, she was unhappy, burnt out in teaching, like many of our teachers. She was unsure really of how to leverage her transferable skills or even what career options were available to her outside of the classroom. She had no LinkedIn presence and no networking strategy. It was like super awkward for her, she said. She also lacked clarity, direction, interview confidence. Okay. And then after working together in a matter of weeks, she built a full job search strategy and she had clarity on her direction. She started to feel excited because she started to see, kind of like putting a puzzle together, like where her skills fit in and all of the roles that were actually a great fit for her, which were much more than what she had anticipated. We also helped her develop confidence with interviews, networking, marketing her skills on LinkedIn, negotiating her salary, and she ended up pivoting into an operations specialist role. And then within 4 months, she was promoted twice and also had multiple pay raises. Okay, so this can happen for you too. All right, so strategy number 2, conveying your skills on paper and selling yourself as a top candidate. like I said, I've reviewed thousands of resumes at this point. The majority of job seekers out there are sending out unqualified resumes. Doesn't mean you're unqualified, but your resume is positioning you as unqualified. And it's a watered down version of what your actual skill set is. Okay. A lot of people are marketing themselves as their past role, as one example, instead of the role that they actually want. Okay, and that's because you just don't have clarity and the maybe skill set to be able to translate your skills and speak the role that you are looking for and targeting. Okay, so you're marketing yourself as your past role. I also see a lot of people not optimizing their resume for the applicant tracking system. So then therefore they get automatic rejection emails and they're not even seen by a recruiter at this point. Okay. So what we want to do is, instead of leading with your work history, we want to lead with your qualifications and the value that you possess. In the next slide, I'm going to show you a brief example of part of a resume so that you can see what I mean. A lot of you have your work history too far up at the top. If you're wanting to pivot into a new industry, your work history is like the first thing that they see. Like, I'll use teachers for an example. If a recruiter looks at your resume and you want to be an instructional designer, but you have, fourth grade teacher front and center on your resume, and they have 1,000 other applicants who have 10 plus years experience in instructional design, why would they even give you a chance or even take more than a second to look at you? They're not, you won't even get past the ATS to begin with. So what we need to do is push that work history down, lead with your transferable skills and qualifications up front, okay? And that's how we sell you. We need sections in your resume that are going to sell you. Okay, a lot of you are just listing out like bland skills and like work history and like certs and stuff like that, but you're not even actually selling yourself, okay? I also see a lot of job seekers not even have like a full portfolio built out or a branding strategy. Okay. And then this is where the concept of like not even selling yourself comes in here. But you have maybe a resume, maybe part of a LinkedIn or like somewhat of a website. So like a career portfolio is pretty extensive. There's like quite a bit of material that goes into that. And a lot of people don't have that fully built out. Okay. So really, instead of listing out generic skills and starting with your work history, what we need to do is get more specific and get more advanced. So you want to position yourself as if you are a very competitive, highly qualified candidate. So like you need to have that in the back of your mind and on the front center of your resume. Okay. And so a question to ask yourself as an action step in this part of the process is, what does your branding strategy look like? What does your career portfolio and your online presence include or look like at this point? And are you positioning yourself as your past role or the one that you want? And most people, they qualify for multiple positions, and we can position multiple job titles and variations within one resume. So your resume doesn't have to be limited to just one role. We can expand on that and make sure that we're casting that out to a variety of roles and skill sets. Okay. So what does your branding strategy look like? What does your career portfolio look like? Are you doing strategy number one and really positioning those skills that we've dug up and those best fitting roles as competitive and as a top candidate? And if you're not, you will get overlooked. You won't even make it past the ATS and into the hands of a recruiter. Okay. So comment and let me know if you were struggling with this or if there's anything else with this part of the process that is unclear to you. Okay, so this is the resume example. So this is just a top portion for privacy reasons. I'm just showing the top portion of a former teacher's resume. And this is, we repositioned her for HR senior level roles in this resume. What I'm going to point out just briefly here is that this resume, this is the first like two, let's say like half of the first page. Hers was a 2-pager. And as you can see, there's no work history yet. But what you can notice is that there's a lot of transferable skills here. Like this part is loaded with skills. And even underneath this part, this is notable accomplishments. And this is replacing that work history up front. Her work history doesn't even start until the end of like page 2. Because what we have first is accomplishments, these bolded transferable skills and qualifications. I will say that she didn't know that she had the majority of these skills. So what is going to happen is you're going to have to identify what skills can translate into, let's say her teaching skills translate into HR management. What skill are we translating that fits HR management, therefore that we can put on paper as HR management, right? So what we need to make sure that nothing is lost in translation. So step 1 that we just talked about, this is the foundation that was built out from step 1. And then in translation, this is how we're able to connect the dots and say HR management, recruitment, employee onboarding experience. This is how she developed each of these skills so that she's clear and confident on where these skills come from so that they're not just made up random skills because she has no HR corporate background. She only had teaching background, no corporate experience, okay? So this right here is an example. These bullet points are showcasing how she developed each of these skills. Okay, and then this is also going to give recruiters confidence that she is qualified instead of her having to prove herself and sell herself even more. This is a great base for her to use as well for interview. So, like I said, that first step is incredibly important because it is the foundation. It's like the foundation to your house. It's the foundation of the quality of job opportunities and the quality of interviews and offers that you are going to land. Okay. Another case study to inspire you ladies. Okay, so Juliana, she was a teacher as well, and she landed an associate academic designer role at McGraw-Hill. And I know that her post got a lot of buzz on LinkedIn. So before in her teaching career, like many of you, she was burnt out, no career strategy, lacked confidence. She was unsure how to really pivot into corporate roles. She felt like a fish out of water, very unfamiliar with it. She had no portfolio built out, no branding, no job search direction. After we worked together, she had a fully rebranded portfolio, resume, LinkedIn. She had the website built out, slideshow presentation, and she also learned how to start networking. And within less than 8 weeks, she landed 15 to 20 interviews with top EdTech companies. I know a lot of you are looking for EdTech roles. And she also secured multiple freelance projects and a contract at Amplify. And then she was hired full-time at McGraw-Hill. Okay, so this can happen for you too. The ladies in our community, their skill set and qualifications are probably very similar to yours. So they're not starting off like more experienced or skilled than you. What they're doing is being strategic with how they're marketing and selling themselves, and they're going through these different strategies that I'm sharing with you today. Okay, so if they can do it, you can too. You absolutely can. All right, comment and let me know where you're at with each of these strategies so far, if there's anything else that's come up for you that you're struggling with. Okay, so strategy number 3 here. So this is going to be where we develop the outside the box intentional job search approach. Okay, so most job seekers are relying on broken job boards and the cold application process, really just submitting whatever applications and resumes that they can think that they're qualified for, not really understanding how to get around their competition. There's a sea of applicants, before you even get to the job posting or within hours of it being posted. Obviously, there's just so many people that have bombarded it. So how are you getting around that? How are you getting around your competition is really the question to ask yourself with this part of the process. Most job seekers have no idea how to stand out, no idea how to network and land referrals, okay? Most of you are probably doing what every other job seeker is doing, which is blending in with that sea of applicants. A lot of job seekers are like applying and then they follow up on LinkedIn with a recruiter and they're wondering why they're not standing out, because everybody else is doing that. A lot of people also underutilize LinkedIn for job opportunities. They're underutilizing their profile. They're not truly leveraging the potential of LinkedIn or know how to optimize their profile so that you are shown to recruiters versus you having to chase down recruiters. They come to you. Okay, it's kind of a multi-step approach here. There's a lot of layers to this part of the process alone. There's going to be a lot of job search strategies here, and you don't want to rely on just applications. Absolutely not. Okay, like you want a combination of different strategies and to cast out a wider net and to increase your chances of really getting those referrals and opportunities coming your way. Okay, so this part of the process, I want you to ask yourself, what does your job search strategy look like aside from applying for jobs and using the cold application process? Job boards are way too saturated at this point. How are you differentiating yourself online and on LinkedIn? What are you doing to really stand out and get around people? Okay, it's going to be important for you to know a variety of job search methods and really just add to that toolbox that you have. Okay, like I said, this is going to really increase your chances of standing out and getting around your competition. Some examples that I can share with you briefly for the sake of this live stream, just briefly. Accessing the hidden job market, positions that haven't even hit online or been posted, or maybe aren't even going to be posted, but you're accessing them through things like networking. What you can do is set up coffee chats with employees that work at companies or organizations that you're interested in. But I want you to make sure that whatever you do with networking, it's genuine. Sending personal messages on LinkedIn to your recruiters and employees instead of doing like generic follow-ups and asking for the offer, following up about your application. I want you to start offering, first of all, researching their LinkedIn profile and offering like a warm compliment on something that you notice in their profile. Maybe there's something you have in common. Maybe you saw a post or a picture of theirs or something and you really liked it. And you're like, hey, I really like this thing that you said in this post, or I really like this picture that you posted, or, it's amazing. You went to the same university I did, or something that you have in common or something that you can compliment them on, okay? Just strike up genuine conversation. Like if you were at the grocery store, for instance, out in public in like real life, not virtual, you wouldn't go up to somebody and just ask them to like do something for you without first interacting with them with like common courtesy, being polite. What's your name, getting to know them and kind of building trust with them. And that's exactly what you need to do online. So it's like you wouldn't just go up to somebody randomly in the grocery store and treat it, like we do online, like, hey, like, I would like this thing from you. Like, treat them like a real person, and find common ground. If nothing else, find common ground, but be intentional as well. What is your goal in reaching out to them? Are reaching out to set up a coffee chat, to set up a, ask them, hey, I would love to get on a 10-minute Zoom chat with you after you've kind of warmed up the conversation. Name the time frame, let them know a quick 5 or 10-minute chat just to ask you a few questions, see what kind of value I can offer you. Those kinds of things are going to be different. This is how you differentiate yourself, okay? And these are just a few of so many different strategies that you should have in your toolbox, okay? And this is going to allow you to really get around your competition and not just rely on the application process. Applications should be an accessory to your job search strategy, okay? There's so many different things that you can and should be doing. Like I could talk for an hour on different networking strategies, okay? And so these are just a few here, but really just understanding that you don't want to rely on one. You want to have kind of a multitude of different job search strategies, okay? Comment and let me know if you're struggling with this part of the process. Okay, one more beautiful case study here from Miss Diana. So Diana was a healthcare administrator. She's now an operations manager at Amazon. Before we worked together, she was stuck in healthcare. She had no real clear direction or confidence. She was unsure how to pivot into like larger companies and corporations. She didn't have a career strategy, no networking plan. She didn't know how to market or sell her skills or stand out. She was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me. And then after working together, we rebranded her resume, her portfolio, her LinkedIn, her transferable skills were front and center, just like a little bit of that resume I showed you ladies. And she learned how to network. She learned how to do interviews. She learned how to negotiate her salary. She, was able to make it through multiple interview rounds. She had multiple interviews during the program. And then she was hired at Amazon as an operations manager, making $115K. And she had a $25K salary increase. So she broke past 6 figures with our help. And you can too. Most people that we work with, I'll speak to, most women, they can break past 20 to 50K salary increase. So if you're at like 70, 80, 90 right now, that 6 figures is not far away from you. And so it is going to require you to learn all of these different strategies today, but you can do it just like Miss Diana. All right, ladies, that's going to conclude today's live stream. So it's time to get to work. Don't go yet. I've got an opportunity for you, ladies. So what we need to do is obviously just a recap, get you up to speed with hiring standards, learn how to market and sell yourself with a competitive edge, ladies. You need to be competitive, and we need to be a little bit more assertive with your job search and with how you're branding yourself. It is going to require work, but you can do it, okay? For those of you who have reached out to me on LinkedIn or through email looking for feedback on your resume and help with your job search, I have a few options to continue learning from me and also just to get some more guidance and some hands on your resume. So number one is my 5-step job search and branding training video. I'm going to be offering it for free this upcoming week only to those of you who attended this class live today. So DM me on LinkedIn and I will send you the link to that training video if you have not seen it yet. This is going to go into more detail, everything we talked about today, but there's more steps involved. Okay, so this will give you more context and insight. The second option is that I've just opened up 10 coaching spots this week only. There's a 45-minute deep dive on Zoom with me. So this is where we will look together at your resume and I want to compare it side by side with an example. We might look at the resume example that I shared with you today, but also there's some other ones we can compare it next to. This is going to help you to see exactly what's underselling you in your resume and how to change it. So this is like immediate resume improvements and feedback. And this is also a deep dive into your job search strategy so that we can kind of peel back the curtain and see exactly like what's holding you back, what needs to be improved. And then also I'd like to share some job title and skills examples with you ladies as well. So from other clients that we've worked with who have landed roles that you're looking for, I would like to give you some examples of skills that they included in their resume and also other job title variations that you might not be aware of. Okay, so this is your chance to really come up with a game plan and get yourself moving forward. I am offering this coaching session. It's a 45-minute session to those who attended today's class live, half off. Okay, so this is normally more than $200 coaching session. I'm offering it at a VIP rate of $111, and that's going to be this upcoming week only. Okay, and we do have limited spots. It's all first come, first serve. So drop a yes in the comments or DM me on LinkedIn, and I will send you the link to book this call before the spots fill up. Okay, or you can book it in my LinkedIn bio and profile as well. The link is there. Okay. And for those of you who have reached out for one-on-one career coaching, resume help, application, job search assistance, we are closing our enrollment community soon. So DM me and I will send you the link to apply for coaching, or you can do it on the Girl Work It website. Some of our other career coaching services, if you're not ready for like one-on-one hand-holding support yet, are job application assistance. Everyone really loves that. You don't have to apply for jobs. We do it for you. There's a resume optimization service, so we can just completely revamp your resume. There's career clarity, skills discovery coaching, and we offer payment plans on everything so that you can get into a better role no matter what your budget type is. Payment plans start at like $10 per month. So we can help you. There's plenty of resources and support options that are available to you, ladies. Thank you for attending today's class. I hope you're feeling a little bit more inspired. You have a lot of work to do. DM me on LinkedIn if you're interested in the training. If you're interested in the job search fix and resume strategy session, go ahead and DM me or just book straight in my LinkedIn profile. The link will be coming down once all of the spots are filled this week. And then if you're looking for career coaching or any career services, obviously DM me or go onto the Girl Work It website and apply. But I look forward to seeing you ladies on my next live stream. And without further ado, that will do it for today's class. Take care, ladies. Bye.